You come and say in public
A very good afternoon and welcome to the Police Sports Club's grounds for our second week in a row as we bring you this match of the week, or as we expect to be the match of the week in this Dialog Rugby A Division League. It's Police versus CR&FC. Police played Kandy last week at the same venue and suffered a heavy defeat, so the home crowd will be expecting a quick bounce back from the home team. They've got a new addition into their side. Rehan Virakun comes in to plug that yawning hole which was present last week at fly half. Mohammed Sharif moves to the outside centre position, and we have Riza Mubarak coming in his much favoured position at fullback. So it looks like it's going to be a full strength team sheet for both sides. CR&FC as well have most of their contingent back. Kanchana Ramanayaka comes in at outside centre. Rochana Hettiarachchi goes back to where he's most dangerous at number 15. And to talk us through the game, I'm joined by the Gunatilaka twins, Jayan and Jeevan, in the commentary box. Firstly, with Jayan, it looks like great conditions for rugby, just like last week. Jayan, a little bit overcast, not too much of a breeze. It looks like it's going to be a good day for running.
Yes, Shanaka, let's hope it stays this way, and let's hope the heavens don't open up. Last week was similar in terms of condition underfoot. Unfortunately, the quality of the game was a bit to be desired. But I think police will be hurting from last week, and let's see what they do to make that come right this week.
One thing we've got to talk about last week's game, as well as in general about this Dialogue League, Jayan. I think everyone is in agreement that the standard of refereeing has gone up from last year. It's not perfect, but it certainly has gone up. And the discipline of the players last week left a lot wanting, because the police team had a few infringements on their home ground as well. Shara Fernando ending up with 2 yellows and a red. We had about 5 yellow cards in the entire game. Do you think that would change today? Was it just the two oppositions last week, or is it just a mindset problem?
Well, to begin with, as far as the refereeing standard is concerned, Shanaka, I think you're right there. The refereeing standard has really improved. It doesn't help when players get involved in fisticuffs and disrupt the game, which is what we saw last week. But come this week, I'm sure the respective management teams of both teams, and all the teams, I would say, would have had a chat with their players and asked them to concentrate on rugby matters and what happens on the field. So I don't expect police to make the same mistakes they made last week. And as you said, there's some personnel changes, and I think we're going to be in for a game of fast open rugby.
Yeah, these two teams are mid-table. They're properly evenly matched against each other, probably at 4 and 5 at the table right now. Probably the two most evenly matched teams in terms of personnel and skill. How do you see that playing out? Will it be a battle of strategy, or will it just be execution?
It'll be a bit of both. I think we know exactly what both teams are going to come out and play, and we know where the strengths lie. But it would all come down to discipline as well, Chanak, and in those key moments, when you go into opposition 22, you have to come away with points, and that's what's going to be important in this game.
Well, we see both teams running out, and referee Dinka Pires will be the one who is entrusted with the all-important whistle in this game. He's a senior man in the refereeing circuit, and the police have looked like they're going into a huddle, which we haven't seen before. Something about team spirit, something about coming together. Hopefully this will reflect in their style of play as well. The red shirts boosted by the readmittance to the starting lineup of Kanchana Ramanayaka, one of their most important players, and their midfield duo changes once again, Jivan and Jayan rather, and that means that Amila Bandar partners with him at number 12. Not a player that a lot of people have heard of, but he's a guy that can do a job, definitely do a job at number 12. So Rochana Hettiarachchi moving to the back. Police played a kicking game last week, but they will have a much more organised back three to contend with. And on the police side of things, we have Rehan Virakun moving immediately into the number 10 position. Chula Susantha will be outside him. Mushin Falil had a superb game last week. Lahiru Gurusinghe, the captain, comes in at outside centre, and Mohammad Sharif moves to the wing with Riza Mubarak manning the last line of defence. So it will be a nice test for these two sets of three quarters, but the battle is going to be won up front. And do you think that CR&FC have a few more superior experienced players, Jayan, in this lineup?
Yes, Shanaka, and that would really come to the fore, especially when the game enters the 60th minute. But Police have the better players and they've got off to a good start. They managed to secure the ball.
Restart fumbled by CR&FC, and Police immediately in the 22. Taken forward by Mohammad Absal, who reverts from 13 to number 9, which is where he's played pretty much all his rugby. Police strategically trying to rumble this one forward through their big pack. Picked up by Terence Henry, the experienced man. Sasank Ariyaratne immediately trying to make a nuisance of himself. They go short side, but good defense from CR&FC.
It's good to see Henry carry the ball, Shanaka. I think Police needs to get their main players on the ball and get them into spaces.
Quick line speed from CR&FC, but too quick by the likes of things. By the looks of things, rather, Dinka Piris has his arm out, but Absal goes to Rehan Virakun. Quickly taken was Musin Falil, but the line speed is too quick. CR&FC just offside, says referee Piris, and this is the first chance of points. So once again, they've got to watch their discipline.
So the best possible start by Police, Shanaka. Last week they fell back on the scoreboard and they just couldn't keep pace with Kandy. They'll be happy with the start, and it's good to see, like I said, players like Henry carry the ball. They'll want their big players, Henry, Rehan Virakun, and players like Mohammad Sharif on the ball early and get them into spaces, and they need to make these players count. Unfortunately, they haven't had the execution of their game plan in accordance with what they want to achieve, but a near perfect start.
Yes, and it all came from the botched restart. So important, isn't it, Jan, these restarts, or at least the kickoffs even, because it's not something that you can afford to fumble, because this is where you find yourself.
Exactly. And if this goes over, Police have a 3-point lead, and they'll have to secure the ball from the restart, and you just can't afford to switch off in this day and age, Shanaka.
Riza Mubarak, easily the best place kicker in Sri Lanka at the moment, on his home ground, but it comes straight off the post, zeroed it in. And funnily enough, Giant, this is the one Achilles heel in Riza's armory, in the sense that when he has to kick from the 15-meter line on the left side of the post, that's the place where he's most vulnerable. He's actually more comfortable kicking from the right touchline than that very position.
Behind you.
That's rather unusual, isn't it, Shanaka? You would expect him to struggle the other way around.
It is. I've spoken to him about it. He just can't put a finger on it, but that's the place where he has the most trouble. That restart, the 22-meter dropout, was not a great one. But
at the moment, CR doing everything wrong, Shanaka, and they're lucky to get the ball back there.
Once you go down, stay on feet. Release the ball.
Once you go down, stay on your feet, says referee Dinka Piris. Interesting to see how the players manage to.
On that note, Sonic, it's good to see referees communicating with the players. In the years gone by, you just have the referee give his word and you just have to accept it. But now I believe there's a lot more dialogue, which is good.
Well, interesting you should say that, Jan, because I was speaking to Garrett Williamson before the start of the season, and he said there's been advice to the referees actually not to speak to the players too much. You notice it very much in the international level. But he's told his referees to concentrate on just blowing the game and don't talk too much is what he said. Well, we'll see how it goes. First line out for CR&FC, first line out of the game. Arun Kumar to throw in. Goes to Jason Dissanayake. It's well won there, and coming to Costa finds his brother Ashan. There's an inside ball given to Shane Samada Peruma. So good structure from CR early on. They go back the way they came. Passed up the middle from Amila Bandara. It's good presentation of the ball, and now they're going the other way. Sasank Ariyaratne. Good line speed from Police. Good aggressive defense. Bilal Hassan going after Ashan Di Costa. Snagging him eventually. Hamidu waits, they've lost 20 meters, but he puts in a lovely chip into space. One of the quick men really have to make a nuisance of himself. They finally do, and Kavindu Pereira puts Riza Mubarak under pressure, but decent start from CR&FC with ball in hand.
Yes, Shanaka. And this is something I picked up last week as well. The positioning on the back three of the police team is not as good as it should be. There again, they were found woefully out of position, and CR was able to force a line out just outside their 22.
They've made a change in their back three as well, Giant, just to combat that. They've got a fullback playing at wing, which is Mohammed Sharif. They've dispensed with Chamara Dabare this week. Don't know whether he's injured, but that's well won in the front by Shamal Veerasekara. Sasankari Ratna peeling forward. It's available now for CR, who will also pick and go. They were a little loath to do this against Havelocks, which was their downfall. Kavindu de Costa waits. Puts in the little chip once again. And
Number 14 in front of the kicker. Number 14 in front.
Very clear call there from referee Dinka Piris. We had Kavindu Pereira well in front of Kavindu de Costa. So the two Kavindus, a little bit of a miscommunication there, but you can see it's another tactic that is being very deliberately used against police. They've noticed this back three positioning, like you said, Jan, they're trying to exploit it. Sharif with a inadequate touch finder from his standards. Joining us is Jeevan Gunatilaka. Jeevan, it's a good day for rugby. The sun just coming out of the clouds a little bit. Maybe this will tire the players out a little sooner than we thought, but so far so good.
Yeah, good afternoon, Shanaka. Yeah, it is a lovely day for rugby. You know, it's the sunshine is just peeping through the clouds. Excellent day for rugby. Excellent conditions here at Police Park.
Long ball out, and Lahiru Guru Singh puts a deep kick in, but Kavindu de Costa is well positioned. Loses his balance a little bit as he goes into the contact, but CR have front foot ball. Quick movement from Kokila Hiran there. And now Kavindu de Costa has quick ball. Ashan de Costa once again exploiting that space on the right side wing. Good chase coming in, but just not quick enough. Mohammed Sharif gets back just in time. So it's a repetitive tactic that they are using, CR, putting it behind the right winger, but it seems to be working.
Yeah, I mean, CR has obviously come out with a clear game plan to put the ball behind the back three, Shanaka. Unfortunately, the bounce of the ball hasn't gone their way, but it'll be interesting to see how police come up with it, because CR have shown their hand early.
Well, it looks like Riza Mubarak, who's got the ball in his hand right now, is going to have his work cut out, covering laterally. It's one of the most difficult things for a fullback to do if he doesn't have support of his wingers. But that's a better restart dealt with by CR&FC. They've secured it once again. Hands all over the ball there from the police.
Break.
And this is something we're seeing more of, gentlemen. Going forward and the ruck being awarded rather than the penalty. Referees have been advised to not guess and not give away game-changing penalties, but if you're not sure of exactly where the offence is, just keep the scrum. So do you guys agree with that?
Slow and steady.
Yeah, it's fair enough, Shanaka. In that sort of situation, sometimes the tackler just cannot roll away, and he gets trapped with the ball and the player. And it's a bit harsh to penalise him and decide a possible chance to have 3 points on the board.
First scrum of the game, Kavindu de Costa. Arun Kumar picks it up off the back. De Costa goes on the open side. It's a wraparound move, but the ball handling is terrible from CR. And now the chase is on. Rojana Hettiarachi flying back, but the ball beating everyone into touch. So not a great execution there from CR&FC. They've tried to be ambitious in their backline moves, but just a little bit of drilling gone south.
Had that ball gone to hand, Shanaka, he would have been away. It's just a case of poor hands letting him down, and now they find themselves back in their own 22. CR have had their chances, Shanaka, and they really should have been away on the scoreboard by now. Well, that's rugby though. You don't take your chances, and this is what happens.
Break.
It's an early throw
Line out
from
again.
Arun Kumar, so referee says we'll come back and do it all over again. Few changes in the front row for CR. We have Shane Samada Perume and Kokila Hiran, the two brothers, the Wesley College old boys playing together at prop and hooker. Terrible line out, but Kokila Hiran rescues it. Therefore, Hamid De Costa now, he slips.
In front.
And Bilal Hassan was...
Keeping the ball in front.
Terribly unfortunate, isn't it, Shanaka, that call?
What do you want? Penalty.
Correct call, but it's just such an unfortunate thing because they were momentum was with them, and it's just one of those things. Mohammed Sharif on the wing, would that classify in police terms as a punishment transfer, Shanaka?
He didn't have a great game at fullback last week. He didn't have a great game at 10 the week before that. In fact, some would say he's lucky to be on the field after that little altercation with Buaneka Udangamo last week.
Don't cross the
Well,
gap.
Escaped the citing commissioner.
From a coaching perspective, Shanaka, sometimes when you work yourself to the corner, it's just one step away from the bench.
Well, Sharif has an experienced player which they need. Chamara Dabare was found wanting under the high ball in police's opinion, so they've put a guy who has better skill. That's a big thump from the CR forwards there. That was Nipuna Devinda with the hit. Carrying the police ball carrier back a few yards.
I don't think we can emphasize enough on how important this game is for these two sides, Shanaka. It hasn't gone their way. I know great things expected of this police side. A lot of investment has gone in. Players have come in. They haven't really stepped up. CR again, started well. A lot was expected. Of course, they have a younger side, but things haven't gone well, and I think a win will be crucial to both camps today. So, having said that, the rugby has been good.
Yes, it has really lifted itself from last week. And the police scrum this time with Bilal Hassan bound in the channel 1. And he goes straight off the open side as expected with that wheel. And Khalid De Costa wrestles him to the ground. After a bit of resistance, Rehan Virakun goes to Chula Susanta at the back. Riza Mubarak joins the line. Beautifully timed pass from him from Mohammed Sharif. A tip tackle by Rochana Hetiarachi. Tap tackle rather. And now Joel Pereira. Stepping through the middle was Radisha Seniviratna. And now it's available for Mohammed Absal. Rehan Virakun. Good hands from Musin Falil as well. And it's not good defense from CR&FC. A few hands flying a little high. And the touch judge has pointed exactly that out.
Captain.
I think Apir is going to be having a word with CR skipper Ishan Noor.
Number 2. No arm, shoulder, right, slightly high. Nothing goes wrong again.
So no arms is the call, Shanaka. We saw last week as well a lot of intervention from the assistant referees as they are known in today's game. In some cases we thought that some of those were a bit harsh, and we are playing rugby here, so it'll be interesting to see how much of a bearing we see this week as well on the game.
I think that call was fair enough though, Jan, because there was a shoulder charge that went in there. Amila Bandara is very injury prone unfortunately in his career at CR&FC, and hopefully he'll be able to carry on. Amit doing a bit of running repairs on him. Is you, Amit?
Are we taking the fun out of the sport, Shanaka, with all these little 50-50 calls? If you don't tackle with your shoulders, what do you tackle with, Shanaka?
Well, you've got to make an attempt, at least pay lip service to the arms coming around. I think there's a danger of it regressing into rugby league. I think that's what people want to try and avoid, where they don't.
Yeah, but my question is, shouldn't it be a question of intent rather than just applying?
Well, let's talk about that in a bit as Police's rolling maul is over and Bilal Hassan gets his 7th try of the season. Easy as you like. Well constructed maul there. Shanaka Harishchandra also at the back of that controlling things. And Achala Pereira getting a pat from the rest of his players. Really good work there from the Police 8 against a fancied CR&FC 8, which you see there, trying to recover themselves. Kavinda De Costa having a word with his bigger boys. But a well-deserved try in the end for Police. They've had the better run of the game so far.
Yeah, Shanaka, I thought that was an excellent rolling maul, but even more than the Police rolling maul, I thought the defense was extremely poor, Shanaka. I thought they were not organized at all. There was no pressure at all on the ball carrier. That was easy as you like. That was a try for all money. If you look at all those numbers, they're just standing and watching. No one is putting pressure on the ball carrier. Very, very poor by CR. If they don't sort this out, it's going to be a long afternoon for them.
Yes, and it's pretty easy to see what's coming, really, when you've got a line out on the 5-meter line, and you'd imagine that the defense has to be prepared for that. Mubarak from a little bit further out. Technically a more difficult kick than the first one he had, but I would imagine that this one shouldn't be too much of a problem. Easy does it. And it's just that kick from the 15-meter line that is really some unfortunate.
Well, that's Riza Mubarak for you, isn't it, Shanaka? Like Jivan said, that bit of defending that CR&FC did at the lineup was woeful, and if I was in Marika, I'd be putting my hair out because that was far too easy for Police. It's important that CR doesn't go off the ball and they get back into the game now and come away with some points, Shanaka.
Yes, indeed, they need to get to the other end and come away with something. They've tried a few moves, some ambitious moves, but they just need to get at least 3 points on the board, settle their nerves. Ashanti Costa deputizing for Tarinder Ratwata, who unfortunately has dengue fever, will be out for a while. Rehan Veerakung stepping back inside and helping his right wing out. Arun Kumar well positioned for that. Run straight into Joel. Now it's available for Jason Dissanayake, who we've seen not much of. Looking to go blindside again. Tackle from Police.
Perhaps should have good it there, Shanaka. There are a few numbers out there.
He knows only one way, and it's a good run from him. Kavinda De Costa. Here's Amila Bandara looking to go on the outside. Can't get the offload away to hand. And Police now secure the ball again. Now they have a counter-attack opportunity. Absal puts a deep kick in, but Kavinda Pereira once again reads it well. Now he's got people outside him. Chooses to come inside. Referee's got his arm out. The Police player flopped all over that. So good call from the referee. Rojana Hettiarachchi thinks it's the last minute of the game and opts to have a go. Shamal Veerasekara pumping his feet. Kavinda De Costa now gives it to his big ball runners. Once again, CR go blindside. Kavindru, good hands from him. Arun Kumar throws it back inside, but it's not a good pass. So a little bit of continuity, but like Arsenal Football Club, their last pass letting them down. I think so. I absolutely think so.
Well, Arsenal Football Club on top of the world at the minute, so I don't think we can quite draw a parallel this week with Arsenal. But, like you said, Shanaka, I mean, there's a bit of continuity, but they seem to be falling apart when it comes to that last pass, and the decision making towards the end still quite not up to speed.
Okay.
Shouldn't be the case. Quite a few experienced players, especially in the outside backs.
Well, the good thing is Police look much more composed this week, Shanaka. They look much more, what can I say, much more organized. They look like they know what they want to achieve. They have a particular plan in place, and so far so good as far as they're concerned.
Yes, indeed. They look much sharper than they did last week, and I think it was purely the fact that they didn't have a fly half in their squad. There was makeshift players playing at fly half, and it's just one of those positions that you secure at the start of the season and the off season. And I was really surprised that they went into this season without a specialist. Achala Pereira getting a bit of ice to his shin. Experienced hooker will throw into this lineup for Police. Police missing Romesh Acharige this week. Joel Pereira coming in to the second row in place of the experienced Police player. Goes right to the back and it's not straight.
Well, that's one thing they haven't quite figured out, Shanaka. Last week the lineout was pretty poor, and this week seems to be the same case. Just goes to show the importance of having that combination with your jumpers and the hooker, and it's just not happening for them.
They've started with Achala Pereira this time around. They started with Rasit Silva last week, whose line-out throwing was admittedly a little better than Achala's, but looking for the explosive play that Achala can offer. But core skills are something you can't compromise.
Running short on numbers, Shanaka. Radisha is playing on the flank. He's not a specialist flank. In fact, he's a scrum half. So a bit thin on numbers.
That's a nice wraparound from Kavindu de Costa, but Rochan Hettiarachchi runs straight into the opposition. And Police now have the numbers in the ruck. Kavindu de Costa does well to pickpocket that.
No.
Good
That's a
tackle
good
from
tackle.
Police.
Excellent tackle, Shanaka. Excellent pressure. No one at home at CR.
Getting back quickly is Kavindu once again. He's fielded 3 of those high balls. Now Rochana Hettiarachchi looking to run. He hasn't done a lot of that this season so far. And Kavindu de Costa does a well placed up and under there. Nobody under it though. And the bounce of the ball is kind towards... Oh, beautifully done. Kanchana Ramanayaka. How that ball missed Riza Mubarak, I have no idea. But somehow it bounced into the hands of Kanchana Ramanayaka, and it's a gift try, isn't it?
Where was Riza Mubarak, Shanaka? I mean, once again, he was just hours late on that. And in the previous time, CR attempted that earlier on in the game. The bounce of the ball didn't quite go their way, but it was not the case this time, and it was only a matter of time before that happened. So all that early pressure, all that the initiative that they secured early in the game is more or less gone now.
Looking at the replay now. In just a moment, in fact, after the conversion is taken, Ramanayaka having to convert his own try. So with him in the side, they can afford not to have to play a specialist place kicker. So it's 7-all on the scoreboard. Ramanayaka's try bringing CR on level pegging. But if you can just see how that ball managed to miss Mubarak. He looked like he had it covered for all money. Here it goes. Riza, oh dear, just a miss. I mean, I can't put that down to anything.
Goodness gracious me, Shanaka.
That was not his finest moment. But Ramanayaka very lucky that ball ended up in his hands. But nevertheless, we say lucky, but it was a deliberate tactic from CR, so well done there.
Yeah, I thought what they did was right, Shanak. It was on, the kick was definitely on, the kick was good. But, Riza Mubarak was late to get there at the outset, but then he just made a complete hash of that one.
Well taken there by Jason Dissanayake. Does brilliantly in the line-out in the restart without any real support. Picked up by that pod of forwards that's standing at first receiver. De Costa goes right back to his brother, who puts the ball in the same place, but this time Mubarak has read it. And now Mohammed Sharif looks to go on the outside. Good tackle in the end by Ramanayaka. And CR have gained a little bit of ground there. Police strong into the ruck. Good nuisance Ishan Noor made of himself there. Achala Pereira tries to get the offload away, and Rehan Veerakun has to scramble back. And that's not a good kick at all. Miscommunication between Costa and Kanchana Ramanayaka. It's really unfortunate because the counter-attack was certainly on there if they got it.
Definitely, that was a shocking kick there to start off with, and counter-attack was definitely on. He just needed a decent pair of hands. Again, fundamental basic errors are just letting down these two teams, unfortunately. And just putting a bit of a damper on otherwise, good show of rugby football.
Well, we can hopefully excuse them saying it's early doors in the season yet, but these are professional players, and those are the sorts of mistakes that we really shouldn't be seeing if we want to take our rugby to the next level and we want to be competing in the top tier of Asia. That's not the kind of thing that we can afford. Don't forget, you can check out all the pictures of this match on ThePapare.com Facebook site. You can follow us on Twitter as well at ThePapare Sports. That's our Twitter handle. You can get all the updates of all the Dialog Rugby League games this weekend. Another botched line-out, complete shambles this police line-out is turning out to be. Big run from Randhira Silva. And now Absal looks for his fly half, finds Musin Falil in the end. Musin battles his way but drops the ball in contact. And Sia looking to get out of jail with the turnover.
Number 12! Number 12 offside!
This dysfunctional lineout is really hurting Police Shanaka. It just goes to show, no matter how much the game has evolved, if you can't scrum, if you can't win your own lineouts, there's very little you can do on a rugby pitch. And you get into your opponent's 22, you need a good platform. And they were lucky to get the ball back, but it goes to show that they just didn't have any momentum to take it to the CR3s, and CR is with the ball now.
It just goes to show how important Ramesh Acharige is to this police cause. Without him in the line-out, they look very, very suspect. And Sia will be happy to kick the ball out all day if that's the case. Sia coaching staff at the back there. Shamli Nawaz on the left. Imti Marika and Mohammad Mushtaq. That's well won by Jason Disanaika, but the ball bounced at the ball. Going to police. Absal. Rehan Virakon steps through but eventually brought down. Absal once again to Falil. Falil to Riza Mubarak, who puts it onto his foot. Rochana Hettiarachi had read it well, but the penalty is coming once again.
Offside. Red number 10.
Ashan Di Costa offside.
Captain. Captain.
Now again, this is a problem for police, because now line out is dysfunctioning. What do you do with a penalty like this, Shanaka? Do you go to the corner? I mean, surely are you going to have to do the unthinkable and tap and go? What do you do in this instance? Or do you put it in the corner and hope to God that CR don't contest?
Well, I think that it's still early enough in the game that they'll go to the corner, especially since they've scored a try from that line out. So we will give it at least the first half to try and get things right, and depending on the score, hit the panic button if they have to. But if you were Sia and you were calling this line out defensively, Jivan, what would you say?
I'd contest. If I were police, I'd throw at number 1.
Let's see what Achala Pereira has up his sleeve. That's a better line out from police, and they've set up that maul again. Sia a little bit more resistance this time, but again the body positions at the back not great. Joel Pereira waiting at the back. He's on his own and still manages to make some yards. The ex-Sia boy, old Wesleyite, move towards the latter half of the off-season, and will love to score a try against his old team. Maul called there again, Jivan, and referee says that Joel's run into the CR red shirts was a maul eventually.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh, isn't it, Shanaka? Because you run 20 meters and you're still held up, but you still make 20 meters and the other side gets the ball. But then that's the law, I mean, you got to apply it the way it is. And if you didn't get the ball down, then it's the correct call. So, but again, it's still not a bad position to be in. Police scrums have been good, leading up to today. Missing a few personnel, so we'll see how this goes.
Well, it looks like Bilal Hassan has gone off the field. with a concussion, I'm told, by Sabir, who's been keeping tabs on what's been going on the bench. That's a big miss for them. Massive miss, actually. Ashandi Costa puts a little chip in. Oh dear, what was he thinking there? He knew the penalty was coming, I guess. I hope he did, because if he didn't, that was an absolute red mist that he saw in his eyes there.
Coming to that call again, Shanaka, you know, yes, the police side did advance early, but they stopped running and they retracted. We've seen in international games, no penalties not given for instances like that, where the referee gives you a chance to get back on side. You know, maybe these are things that, you know, we need to apply here, you know, to just keep the game going without, you know, calling on very technical penalties like that, where it doesn't really have an impact on the play. So having said that, I don't think CR will be complaining, but because they got out very lightly, especially looking at what Costa did after that.
I think material impact is the phrase that's used. Did it have any material effect on the game? And you'd have to argue in that situation that it really didn't. So yeah, I agree that you need to be game management more than just calling every offense. Making sure that spectators get a bang for their buck as well.
It just crossed my mind, Shanak. It'll be interesting to see how many times the whistle is blown during a game in our competitions, as opposed to, you know, in the more advanced nations, so to speak, just to see how continuity is maintained.
Well, that was a line-out steal by Police, actually. Well done there. And Mohammed Sharif, Musin Falil could probably have held the pass a little bit more. But good cover getting across from Amila Bandara there. And now Police have the numbers. Radisha Senivaratna ducks into the tackle. Ramanayaka holds him up. Good upper body strength from the CR three-quarter. And now Musin Falil puts the kick in. And it just bounces into touch. In the end, not a bad result from them.
Not a bad result at all, Shanaka. It was broken play there, and I thought when Sharif went down, he lost possession of the ball, so they'll be happy to get the ball back. And CR under pressure, 5 meters away from their own line.
Falil was easily the best player last week against Kandy in the back line for Police, and
he's one of those players who puts his heart and soul into it, isn't he, Shanaka? And
yeah,
even last week, it wasn't for the want of trying.
Shamal Veerasekara does well at the front of the line out. Good news for Police fans is that Bilal Hassan is back in the mix. It'll take a thing or two to concuss him, that's for sure. Ishan Noor waits at the back, the skipper for the second year running. Takes it forward inch by inch. Samada Peruma drives. It's a good drive from him. Straight over the top, says the referee. That's a tough call when you're doubling up. So two brothers, Shane and Kokila, pinged for not allowing a fair contest for the ball. Tough in your 22.
Interesting what option they go for, and I believe Mubarak is going for the corner. Right call, Shanaka?
Yes, I would think so. I think they just asked the referee how many minutes left. 32 is what he said. Oh, so 8 minutes left on the clock, and they would fancy themselves after that last drive as well. CR really need to contest this one and try and disrupt that number 2 ball, because I think Kachala Pereira has lost the confidence to go anywhere else. Well won in the front by Chanaka Udara. And now the big drive comes. Ishan Noor has got to get his body behind this one. And the try scored. It's a carbon copy on the right flank as was on the left flank. And Bilal Hassan, 8 tries for the season so far, and he's only played about 3 or 4 games. As soon as he came back onto the park, there was only one place that that penalty was going. And the ex-CR lad is very happy to have scored against the Red Shirts, where he started out playing club rugby.
Extremely well executed there, Shanaka. I thought they were fantastic there. And CR, unfortunately, once again was too late to the party, I thought. You have to be able to stop that maul from gathering momentum. You just have to put the blocks in place and just make it difficult for them. And once you let the opposition get going, there's very little you can do except bring it down illegally, which they couldn't even manage to do that, actually. And police have turned this game in their favor.
They have indeed. Jivan, what do you tell your team though in terms of how do you defend something like that?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Shanaka, you've got to put pressure on the line-out jumper, the guy with the ball. You have to hit him hard and put focus all your strength and all your energy into that narrow channel and push the ball carrier back. Right, that's where you have to go. If you look at the CR defense again, as in the previous instance, how many people are just not committed to this maul? They're standing and watching. There's minimum chance of anyone peeling off and running from that situation. They're all going to go for the maul. If at all, backs are going to come running back in and join the maul. So again, very poor execution. Again, these are things that I think Shamli Nawaz will be devastated because it's a schoolboy error. It's very poor. And unless they sort this thing out, they're just letting police into the game, when they really don't have to. It's not a maul that, you can't bring down or compete against. So I think they just need to put their bodies in, get the emphasis behind the line-out jumper, and then, they'll make more of a contest out of it.
Mubarak missing that conversion. Dilroy Fernando on the right there with Anushka Pereira. A man who spent a lot of time with some of the All Blacks down under. Anushka on his travels. Sharif takes a long restart from Costa and puts it back long himself. Arun Kumar fumbles but no damage done. Now looks to stretch his legs. Should probably have given it because there was really no support. And he's very lucky to have won the penalty there. Joel giving away the penalty and the referee saying yellow card
Line offside.
quite quickly.
Offside.
That was a very silly penalty to give away, Shanaka. You're in the lead. CR clearly won the ball and just go and give away a penalty like that. Would it warrant yellow card? I'm not too sure, but it was mindless play actually.
Well, it was continuous infringement, I would think, but given that the last penalty was the penalty given away by CR, I think that might have been a little harsh.
Infringement, yellow card, line offside.
But the line has been offside quite a bit, so that's why ThePapare is thought fit to give that.
So just before half-time, it's a crucial passage of play. If CR can come away with some points, a try would be ideal, but even if they can get a 3-pointer from here, it'll be something to be happy with going into Lemons.
Joel Pereira seems resigned to his fate.
Time out.
Well, this weakens the police line out even further. He was the only other option really, apart from Chanaka Udhara.
Is that a 3-man line now, Shanaka? It is.
It is indeed a 3-man line out, so CR&FC have got to win this one because all their forwards are in the back line. Interesting to see what this tactic will be. So go to the back and Kavinda De Costa gives it to Nipuna Devinda, who is tackled very well by Shanaka Harishchandra before he can gain any momentum. And now Rochana Hettiarachchi tries to put the ball to his boot. It comes off Musin Falil but bounces kindly for Mubarak, who thumps it downfield. Kavinda De Costa now. Kavinda Pereira rather. Puts it high but it's a little too far. Stepping is Mohammad Absal. Now he's got a little bit of space. Mohammad Absal still going around. Looks for a man inside. Mohammad Sharif takes it well. Shanaka Harishchandra in support. Police with their tails up now. They've got to get quick ball, surely. Rehan Veerakun gives the long one out to Terence Henry. What's he doing there? And then Radhisha Seniviratna, well taken off his bootlaces by Chula Susanta, who's finally dragged into touch. But good, exciting passage of play from police.
Excellent passage of play, Shanaka. Excellent passage of play there. Quality rugby. Again, it's unfortunate that Chula Susanta just couldn't stay in the field of play. Nothing much wrong with that, but it was just good cover defending there by CR. And again, they're under the cosh here. They got to get their line out right. I don't think a three-man line-out is an option in a situation like this, Shanaka. They got to go up. They know that there's hardly a contest with CR. Why would you want to go for the three-man line-out in situations like that?
Exactly. I'm really not sure what that call was all about. You can buy all the photographs from this match and all the other matches of this Dialog Rugby League. Just contact the editor at ThePapare.com if you want to have any of the photographs that are displayed on our site or on the Facebook page.
This player, Mohammad Absal, is quite interesting selection, Shanaka. With that burst of pace, I wonder if he could be used better than being used at scrum half. He's got a wonderful burst of speed, and his link-up play is pretty good too. So that's one probably for the management to think about.
Well, where else would you play him, Jan? Because he was played at outside centre last week, didn't do brilliantly. Jason Dissanayake wins the ball at the back of the line out, and CR struggled to keep that ball alive, and Kamindu De Costa's kick is good. Well won by Sashan Mohammed, and Sasanka Aryaratna was supporting like Josh Cronfeld would be proud of. Kamindu De Costa, now the ball is with Kanchana Ramanayake. A lovely weighted pass to Kamindu Pereira, stepping inside, needs to give it, does so, and Rochana Hettiarachi is in for the try. So that's a great try from CR&FC. Excellent passage of play from both teams. Police attacking well, and then CR&FC attacking from the kick as well. That was outstanding link-up play from the red shirts, and they'll be very happy to go into half-time at level pegging.
Where did that come from? It was just outstanding bit of play by CR&FC. And that just goes to show, when you have front football and when you got your players in place, there's nothing you really can't do. And police were at 6s and 7s there, Shanaka.
Again, Shanaka, it was, the CR wing three-quarter caught the ball on the full of that kick. Again, where was Riza Mubarak? Where was the winger? Where was the back three? Very poor coordination again. It's the same error again.
Yes, that should really have been taken by the left winger. It was Chula Susanta on that occasion. Was standing way too far back. Should have attacked that ball, but Sashan Mohammed had it easy. But I think the try was made with a wonderful support work rate and angle that Sasanka Aryaratna ran. When we see that again, we'll talk about it as Kanchana Ramanayake lines up the conversion to try and put his side into a 2-point lead at half-time.
Coming back to your earlier question, Shanaka, maybe I'll play Mohammad Abzal at fullback or wing, because if he's there, would I really want to kick the ball to him with his pace and his nippiness? It's a question mark there.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's an interesting point to ponder for the police management, because you do have Sudham Suryarachi, whose birthday it is today. He's on the bench, and Kanchana Ramanayake knocks that one over quite easily, in fact, and takes his team into a 2-point lead. So CR&FC looking to win this game. It will be a big win for them to win away from home after suffering a couple of defeats that they really shouldn't have. Against Havelocks, they were a little poor. Here we see Kamindu De Costa giving the ball out, a well-timed pass. Falil coming across, but Hettiarachi was well over for the try before Falil could get across, and it was excellent link-up play. If we can go back to the start of that move, right back to Kamindu De Costa's kick, we'll talk you through that entire passage of play, because it was really one worth watching, and this is the sort of rugby that we'd like to see all the teams being capable of playing. So half-time, 14 plays 12, and it looks like it's going to be a match that might go down to the wire. Baru kata kian ni bahu. Baru kata kian ni bahu tu tu bahin ni kan. Ina kahit tu tinggi na kata ulo.
Now, reserving your train tickets is as easy as reaching for your Dialog mobile. Just dial 444 and get instantly connected with the Dialog Expo Rail ticket reservation service. A new and hassle-free way to discover the breathtaking sights and sounds of Sri Lanka is now conveniently at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Dial 444 to reserve your Expo Rail train ticket today. Dialog, the future today.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue. The dreams that you tend to dream really do come true. Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly.
Serving over 240 million customers across Asia. Axiata, advancing Asia.
Don't be constrained. Be versatile, be flexible. You have the power. Set talk time, SMS and data quotas to match your style and enjoy the full potential of your mobile package. It's my plan from Dialog. Absolute power to you.
To create your own plan, visit www.dialog.lk/myplan or call 1777 for more information.
Now, reserving your train tickets is as easy as reaching for your Dialog mobile. Just dial 444 and get instantly connected with the Dialog Expo Rail ticket reservation service. A new and hassle-free way to discover the breathtaking sights and sounds of Sri Lanka is now conveniently at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Dial 444 to reserve your Expo Rail train ticket today. Dialog, the future today.
Don't be constrained. Be versatile, be flexible. You have the power. Set talk time, SMS and data quotas to match your style and enjoy the full potential of your mobile package. It's my plan from Dialog. Absolute power to you.
To create your own plan, visit www.dialog.lk/myplan or call 1777 for more information.
The lower you play, the more you can go. 15 you play, we might probably be 19. After that, not really. And we take this shared excuse that we are small. That's just an excuse. Okay, it's always exactly. It's a huge handicap, but you can. There's so many areas you can improve on.
Welcome back to live pictures here from the Police Park grounds at Timirigasaya as CR&FC visit Police Park. Ashan DeCosta to get the second 40 minutes of this Dialog Rugby A Division game underway live on ThePapare.com. Rehan Veerakun, the police fly half, the new police fly half, kicking that straight down the throat of Rochana Hettiarachi, who does brilliantly to get the offload away to Kavindu Pereira, who does even better, I thought, to get the ball available, but he had used two movements in order to do so. Needed to place the ball and then get up. Joel Pereira, who was in the background of that picture, in the sin bin for a few more minutes. Joining me in the commentary box, Jeevan and Jan Gunatilaka. This is probably the best game of the season so far, gentlemen.
By far, Shanaka, by far. The rugby has been pretty good, competitive, and it's a real contest we have on our hands. We've seen some extremely good passages of play. We've seen a few mistakes, but on the whole, excellent game of rugby.
Both teams are pretty confident against each other. I think Police coming into that match against Kandy were a bit low on confidence, probably knew they couldn't beat the champions, and so they tried a few tactics which were out of a dark corner of the cellar. But Veerakun at number 12 there in the top of your picture has added a little bit of stability at number 10. Mubarak shifting back to 15 and Mohammed Sharif on the wing with Achala Pereira throwing a good line out to the back. Rehan Veerakun looping round, Sharif coming in off his wing. Nice ball out to Chula Susantha. Good tackle by Amila Bandara, who had drifted across nicely. Bilal Hassan waits for it at the back, but straight over the top, says referee Dinka Piris. Police sealing that ball off and not allowing it to come out. And Chula Susantha will be disappointed with that. He's a big, strong winger, could have done a little bit more.
Yeah, Chula Susantha has had a fairly poor game, Shanaka. There were instances where he's got bundled into touch where he should have just, done a little bit better to stay in touch, and let the game continue. Again, there, he took it in, when you take it in, it's your responsibility to make sure he comes out. It wasn't done. And again, from a very attacking position, into a position of defense, I like this with Rehan Veerakun coming in. The reshuffle has resulted in Riza Mubarak, Mohammed Sharif and Chula Susantha at the back, which you'll take on any day, Shanaka.
Touch finder from Ashan DeCosta not going as far as he would have wanted it to. Jason Dissanayake is their go-to at the back. And Kavindu DeCosta gives it to Sashan Mohammed. Lovely ball out to Amila Bandara with a long... Oh, that's a beautiful little palm off by Kanchana Ramanayake. And Rochana Hettiarachi throws it back into the field of play, but it's been lost forward. Could have been a beautiful bit of play if Kanchana Ramanayake's ball miracle ball to Hettiarachi had stuck, but still Sia just being let down at the last possible moment.
Absolute shame there, Shanaka. That was excellent passage of play again. The last pass not going to hand. My goodness, police will be very happy that that didn't result in a try there, because it would have been, very, very difficult to come back from a try so early on in the second half.
Yes, it would have meant that they conceded just either side of half-time if that ball had found its way into the in-goal area. But now, Sia with their tails up will have to put real pressure on the scrum. Terence Henry on the tight head side, on the far side for police. And that's a shame, given away. The penalty given away, unfortunately, there for Sia, because...
Interesting tactic, Shanak. I don't know whether you noticed or whether our viewers, in fact, noticed, that with Joel Pereira in the sin bin, police went into that scrum, which was their scrum, without a number 8 and played 2 flankers.
Well, interesting one there. I think, again, a bit of a lack of experience. There's really no way you can go into a scrum without bringing the second row's pressure together. Somebody needs to be behind them, and if it's your ball, I can understand on a defensive scrum you play both the flankers, but on your ball you've got to play a number 8. Surprised the scrum half didn't say something.
Another important line out here. Police throw in. Interesting, they seem to have only one jumper. It goes to 4, but again it's botched there, and Sia coming with the ball.
Stolen away, and taking it forward strongly is Kokila Hiran, who's come a long way from last season. Ashan Di Costa plays despite the fact that police were well offside there. The bounce of the ball is not kind to Mubarak, and he has to run across and thump it into touch with his left foot under severe pressure from Sashan Mohammed. So
at the moment, police just allowing CR to play, Shanaka. They're just giving over the ball and saying, look, come back and hit us. So it's a very dangerous approach to take, and already CR ahead by 2 points, and at the moment they're playing all the rugby in this half. So once again CR have a line out, and their line out is functioning pretty well, and if they secure this ball, police immediately under pressure with one man in the bin.
Yes, a line speed from police that we saw in the first few minutes from their defense has not been too good. Jason Disanaika once again, and coming off the back is Kokila Hiran. He's been working hard today. Oh, that's a beautiful angle from Kanchana. Amila Bandara, in fact, it was. Does well to keep his discipline and keep the ball on the floor. Now, CR have sensed blood. And referee says that ball wasn't coming out. Quick to blow his whistle up there, and CR&FC will have the put in right under the posts. Probably the most favourable attacking position that a scrum can ever be in. And they'll have options on either side of the field. But what a wonderful run from Amila Bandara, who ran onto a flat ball from Kamindu De Costa and completely foxed Lahiru Guru Singh and Musin Falil.
CR in a commanding situation here with a play in the bin. They have a numerical advantage as well, and they've just got the win in their sails at the moment, Shanak, and they'll be looking to really press home that advantage and try and score under the sticks here. If that were the case, if that were to happen, then it's chasing the game again for police, and I don't know if they had the fortitude to do that. So very important passage of play coming up.
Yes, I think this could be the difference between an easy win for CR&FC, a bonus point win, and maybe just a win for them, because they're clearly in the ascendancy at the moment. Police, if they can win this scrum battle, if they can push them back and not concede here, then that will give them a lot of confidence, as well as coach Shamli Nawaz, forwards coach, opts to make a change here. Shamir Fajuddin has come on the tight head side for this all-important scrum, so you can see that CR are taking this very seriously. Arun Kumar will be licking his lips at the back of this scrum. Jeevan, you've had a few of these before. You'd love this ball, wouldn't you?
I rate Fajuddin as a prop, Shanaka. I think he's a very good prop. You know, his fundamentals are very sound. He's played excellent rugby for his alma mater, Royal College. And if I was playing number 8, I'd had utmost confidence that he'd give me that nice little wheel there, you know, open it out for me to just take the ball and, you know, work towards the right of the post.
Police have their best defender just there in Musin Falil. But the penalty is there, and Fajuddin has won it on his side. Arun Kumar bundles himself over. That's a try that he desperately wanted. He has been a little off colour at the start of this season, moved from the front row to the third row and back again. And that's something that he would have desperately wanted to get under his belt. And Arun Kumar takes a short tap and barges over from 5 meters out. So CR&FC now very clearly in the ascendancy in this game, and Police have a mountain to climb. Again, it's little bits of lapses in concentration, isn't it? Soon as
Absolutely, Shanaka. You actually took the words out of my mouth. You know, again, this, if you go back, it's all emanated from that simple missed tackle in front. You know, the same thing happened against Candy, you know, even in the previous games, even the first game against Havelocks. Lapses in concentration just lets the opposition back to the game, and then before you know what, they're too far ahead.
Here's Arun Kumar, great body position from him, has a little bit of a help from his friends as well. Here you go, see it from a different angle, that's great camera work. Bang, straight over.
Not the best of defending you'll ever see. Again, I think Police would have, been very or rather would have been very comfortable with 3 points being given. I think that's what they conceded there, and they, for all money, thought that it was going to be that CR were going to go for posts. And again, it's one of those things, if Arun Kumar didn't score, you know, maybe the coaching staff wouldn't have been that happy, but, you know, it worked out for him, and it's good to see aggressive, you know, tactics being employed here.
Unfortunately, the conversion went to begging, Shanaka. We'll see how critical that turns out to be.
Yes, that was a pretty simple conversion, which Kanchana Ramanayaka slammed against the post. Ashan De Costa in this very clear tactic, putting the fullback and the back three under pressure. Mubarak does well that time and will look to run. He eludes the first couple of tackles. Riza, nice ball over the top. And that's intercepted well by Jason Dissanayaka. Thought a little bit of advantage could have been played there because Ashan De Costa was screaming to put this one deep into Police's 22, which he will try and do now. If he looks up on his left shoulder, there's nobody home for Police. But he's going the opposite way. Hasn't found touch, unfortunately. Riza Mubarak will gleefully thump that one out. Instead of being deep in the opposition 22, CR&FC have a line out just about 20 meters in front of where they won a penalty. So Romesh Acharige is on the park finally for Police, and let's see whether that strengthens their line out.
If CR score again, Shanaka, I think that'll be game set match. So the red shirts will try to win this ball first and foremostly, and try to. Oh, that's interesting.
It's knocked forward once again from Police, so the line out woes continue. Ashan De Costa, a little bit of confidence to take on the first line of defense. Dilan Soiza, who's on the park now in place of Kavindu. Sashan Mohammed strong, does well. And two knock-ons. Good defense there by Police. Kokila Hiran takes it forward once again. He's been an important ball carrier this evening for CR. Nipuna Devinder, the other man who's his partner at prop. Ashan De Costa looks for the long ball. Kamindu Pereira comes in. The speedster hasn't really had a chance to run into an open field. And that's definitely the correct call from referee Dinka Piris. Police were flying into that ruck from all angles, completely off their feet. So they really must keep their discipline now.
if this continues, Shanaka, there's another card going to come because there's just far too many infringements at the breakdown by police. Assistant Rankotke has a bit of a report for referee Dinka. Something tells me there's a card coming up.
Lahiri Gurusinghe, the captain, getting called up. Achala Pereira comes along with a guilty look on his face. And yes, indeed, it is Achala Pereira who goes to the bin. So police lost a line-out jumper. They've replaced Joel Pereira with Romesh Acharige, and now they've lost a thrower.
This is worst possible news for police, Shanaka. This is not what you want. Again, the discipline seems to be letting them down. You can see unnecessary infringements in the breakdown. The last one, there were about 3 different infringements which the referee could have blown for. But I mean, unnecessary. And again, police are unnecessarily under the cosh here due to their own folly.
And again, the usual suspect, Shanaka.
Indeed. They've lost one of their experienced men. I would be surprised if Achala Pereira came back on. Police should probably try Rashid Silva. Arun Kumar to throw into this line out. Well won there by Jason Dissanayake. He has been very good in the line out today. So he's guiding his bullock cart almost. But a knock forward, unfortunately. Sia set that one up nicely, but then lost control. Police managed to fragment it, so it can be defended.
It most certainly can, and credit to police. I thought they were able to, as Jivan said in the first half, they were able to pin the ball carrier down and didn't let him to settle down, and they were able to hold the ball up as well. So kudos to police, but it's going to be doubly hard now to maintain possession of the ball in the scrum because minus Achala as well as the scrum now.
Interested to see Ishan Noor packing down on the tight head side of the scrum. Usually keep your stronger lock on the left side to make sure that channel 1 is protected. And police winning themselves a penalty.
That's poor by CR. You know, they had police well and truly where they wanted to, and you go and give away a penalty like that. So that's really letting the cops off the hook. It almost sounds funny to say that.
Lovely kick from Mubarak, winning his team a good 50 meters there with the wind. Maybe even more actually. So one blemish on his game which led to Kanchana Ramanayaka's try. He has had little support from his 2 wingers, to be fair to him. As Sia make a substitution, Dilanka Pereira comes onto the field. And Shamal Veerasekara goes off. He'll be jumping at number 2. Bilal Hassan throws in and regathers, but CR&FC have upped their intensity. They know that this is a match they can little afford to lose if they want to compete for one of those top 3 positions.
Luckily for police, Shanaka, they've got Bilal Hassan, who's actually a hooker convert, you know, so who knows. We see
Udara Jayasekara coming onto the park.
Udara Jayasekara, who I also rate very highly as a prop forward. Shanaka, I think he's a very underrated prop forward, an unsung hero of police. So this should add a lot of stability to this police scrum, especially when you're 1 man down.
So police doing the smart thing and sending the fresh legs on at this point. Arun Kumar getting away from Mohammad Afzal first up. Dilan Soiza. Amila Bandara, who has played very well today. Rochana Hettiarachchi stepping back in. That's That's a quick hands from CR&FC, but not executed well, and the line was offside once again. So you can see why referee ThePapare had to give that yellow card earlier on, because police have been treading up in front of the offside line quite regularly. And this is a good call. Ishan Noor will know whether it's within Kanchan Ramanayaka's range. If it is, it certainly is the right call.
Definitely, Shanaka. 19-12 is still one try is a cushion of one try. So that's why that conversion that hit the post was so crucial to CR, because 21-12 gives a very different feel to the whole game. When you're in the opposition and you see that type of scoreboard, it looks a mountain to climb, as opposed to one try. One try, you always, you have belief that, if things go your way, you're back in the game. So this is a crucial kick. It's right in front of the sticks, but it's 50 meters. It's about 46 meters out. So again, police, the discipline has just been very poor. This is just a trend this season where, the moment the going gets tough, they just seem to lose their discipline. Yellow cards, a lot of infringements.
Ramanayaka didn't strike that at all well. Barely got off the ground at one of those flat sixers that Chris Gale hits so often. But that time it was not over the bar. So police get a let off. Let's see what they can do with it. Despite the fact that they have played quite badly in this second half, they're still only 7 points adrift, and anything could happen. Mubarak with a good restart. Kavindu Pereira did well. Nipuna Devinda. So Inti Marika using these big prop forwards to carry the ball close to the breakdown. Nice step from Sashan Mohammed. Unfortunately, the offload is over the shoulder of Ashan Di Costa. Police thought they had a knock on, but they didn't. That's a beautiful run again from Amila Bandara. Outstanding angles this man has been running today. Dilan Soisa, another lovely inside ball. CR&FC on song here at Police Park. Still going, they've still got it. Dilanka with his heavily strapped knee squeezes the ball back for his scrum half, and now Fajuddin will have a go. Puts his head down. Good technique from the big prop. Now it's available once again for Sashan Mohammed. Snatching at it was Ashan Di Costa, and now there's a bit of trouble. But the referee says Police's line was offside once again. And this is a much easier kick for Kanchan Ramanayaka, but I thought that police...
There's going to be another card here, Shanaka.
And deservedly so.
That was a beautiful build-up play by CR&FC. They were setting that up, and they were just a couple of passes away from going over. So it's a shame that the ball was spilled out there when the ball went out wide. But there's a fantastic opportunity to get that 3 points, and I can't see him missing from this distance, Shanaka.
Shanaka Harishchandra joins his hooker, Achala Pereira, on the bench. So police down to 13. They'll be hard-pressed to stop this CR juggernaut from rolling on with 2 men short, and Ramanayaka for a 10-point lead. With 2 men short, Jeevan, though, would you have said go to the corner?
In a heartbeat, Shanaka.
Ishan Noor's previous call was spot on. This one a little bit more debatable. Was it a defensive call?
Absolutely, Shanaka. I think they've played a lot of rugby, as you said earlier, without any points to show for it. So his idea was to get some sort of points on the board. And having said that, when you've got players of your caliber and the opposition is 2 players short, you've got to back yourself. And maybe those are things that you'll probably reflect on later on in the day. But missed opportunity in my books. It's 22-12.
Maybe even a scrum could have been a good option there with 2 men down.
Correct, Shanaka.
Need to take one of your third row forwards back into... So you'll have to play with only 1 third row forward, really. So that, I think, is an opportunity lost, as Jeevan said. Sashan Mohammed gives it to Rojana Hettiarachchi. Not a great technique in his kick, and Mohammed Absal does really well to stay on his feet, helped out by Bilal Hassan, who has been a little quiet in the loose. He has scored 2 tries nevertheless off the back of that rolling maul, but hasn't really carried with the authority that we usually associate with him. Mohammed Sharif, lovely little offload off the ground. And holding on is the call. Musin Falil going in over the top of Sudham Suryarachchi, who has found his way onto the park, the birthday boy. And once again, Police's discipline letting them down in attack and defense.
It's a shame, isn't it? Police started the game, especially in that first quarter, they were playing good rugby, but they found themselves on the wrong end of quite a few penalties, which they just couldn't seem to correct. And there were far too many penalties, and referee Dinka lost patience eventually, and they find themselves 2 players short chasing the game, which doesn't look good. Well, on the positive side, Ashal Pereira is back on the park. Referee Dinka just having a word with him. So let's see if Police can really show us what they're made of, Shanaka.
Man down in back play, where referee Dinka Peiris is off to have a check. Kokila Hiran telling the referee, just give me a few minutes, sir. It's obviously cramp. He's getting a rehydration pill. He's been good today, Kokila Hiran. Underrated player. He's worked very hard in the off seasons last year and this year. Has been on the fringes of the CR team. And this year has got his chance and taken it.
He's played very well, Shanaka. I think he's also has the benefit and the comfort of having his brother next to him. You know, it helps sometimes.
As you would know. Can't remember the last time 2 brothers played in the front row together. Jason Dissanayake wins it, but it's crooked. Remember, LV Ekanayake and Priyantha Ekanayake playing for many years together in the pack for Kandy, but it was never in the front row together. So CR&FC have taken their foot off the gas a little bit. I think they're quite comfortable with this 22-12 lead at the moment, but they need to really go for the jugular and get the bonus point in this game. Just a one more try needed for that.
Yes, I think we played most of this rugby in the second half in the Police 50, in the Police half of the ground. So I think they feel very comfortable here, and you know, they're just able to run down the clock. There's a long time to go, but you know, Police just have been shambolic in the second half. You know, giving too many penalties. Discipline has let them down. Can't play a game with 13. It's hard enough as it is with 15.
And here's Bilal Hassan. We're just talking about how he has been a little quiet. Offload doesn't go to hand, and CR&FC snaffle it for a counter attack quickly. Jason Dissanayake. Here's Kavindu Pereira. Tries to offload to Sashan Mohammed, but it doesn't go to hand. And the knock forward will go Police's way. So once again, Police being let down by their hands.
It's just not going right for them, Shanaka.
What does this tell you of Jivan? Because
well, the easiest thing you could say is it's a fitness issue, because it's always been in the second half. But then again, you know, if you look at the Police team, it's a, you know, they've got a lot of people who have come from different clubs, you know, a lot of outsiders, so if for the want of a better word. So it takes a bit of gelling, you know, not everybody is on the same page. So as a result of that, your movements get a little disjointed, and when you're under the cosh and back on the scoreboard, it doesn't help the cause. So I think that's what's happening here. You get people pulling in different directions, and this is what you end up with.
Bilal Hassan trying to take matters into his own hands now. Untidy ball from the back of that breakdown rather for Surya Rachi, and now police are chasing back. Knocked forward there. Banu Kananiakara is on the pitch for CR&FC. There's Amila Bandara.
With all their investment on players, Shanaka, I would dread to think what this team would have been without Bilal Hassan.
Yes, he has kept them together. He and Falil were outstanding last week as well, losing cause nevertheless. He really carries so many teams on his rather sturdy shoulders. But just that ability to link up.
Where would you play him, Shanaka? If you were coach, would you play him at hooker? Would you play him at number 8? That seems to be a golden question.
Well, I think his game is actually more suited to be a hooker. I think that's where his natural position is. But unfortunately, Sri Lankan rugby is such that he is also the best number 8 by a country mile. So, if you want someone to make an impact at the back of your scrum, you need Bilal there. But if you just got a better number 8, a guy with the core skills at number 8 who can do the job, then of course you will want to play him as well as Bilal, and you put him in the front. But with the scrum going back, there's no one better than Bilal as well. So there's so many things to consider there, Jeevan.
Correct. It's all about how you want to play your rugby. That's what makes this game so interesting and beautiful, isn't it? You've got so many options. Whether you want a ball carrying number 8, or do you want a number 8 who's going to be in the breakdown? Do you want? It all depends. Are you going to play a line out option and on the back row, or are you going to stick to line out options in the front, in the second row? All that makes this game beautiful, Shanaka.
Yes, it does. It gives us a lot to talk about as well off the field, and analyze, and sometimes incur the wrath of the players and the management also. But this is what makes it such a cerebral game. There again, Bilal making a nuisance of himself at the breakdown. Almost managed to turn that ball over. Kavindu Pereira stepping inside. He's played well today, Kavindu. Handled the ball quite a bit. Banuka gives the ball to Ishan Noor, who hasn't carried today much. Here's Banu Kananiakara again, throws a dummy, and
ball needs to go out wide, Shanaka.
Recognizing that is Kokila Hiran, but not so Arun Kumar, who takes it up route 1. The knock forward is awarded in the end. Nipuna Devinda on his old schoolmate Risa Mubarak. They didn't play together, of course, but both from Isipatana. Smile on his face there though, Risa. He doesn't get very involved in the handbags.
If I was his size, I wouldn't get involved in handbags either, Shanaka. Especially picking on front row forward.
Fair point. Police a scrum again, but losing the territory battle. They've played almost the entire second half in the around their own 22.
So police back to the full complement of players, and considering that they haven't let CR get too far ahead, they'll be, I suppose, in a way, a bit happy of not conceding too many during that period, Shanaka.
Yes, indeed, as Tanuja Senivaratna comes on for Shanaka Harishchandra, who spent some time in the bin. Surya Rachi. Sharif has moved to number 10. And Musin Falil with a good pass out. And now here's a speedster. Kavindu Pereira is probably a little bit quicker than his opposite number, Hiroshan Silva, who has replaced Chula Susantha. Mohammad Absal, in fact, replaced Rehan Veerakun. So Mohammed Sharif has gone to number 10. And Mohammed Absal has made way for Sudham Suryarachi and moved to the wing. So that's a reshuffle in the Police back line. Interesting. Sasanka Aryaratna to throw into this line out. So he's a really useful player for coaches Marika and Nawaz. I really like the way he plays his rugby, gents. He's in that old school mold of support running, flying forward, not the breakdown king or not the big busting ball carrier, but he really takes me back to that Josh Grunfeld type of player. Scrum cap and everything. Jason Disanaika, brilliant in the line out again. That's a tough penalty from Mohammed Sharif, who will do well to keep his temper under control. Involved in a little bit of an altercation last week with Buaneka Udangamo, which was rather unsavory. But I think he was hard done by there. He went in for the tackle and fell on the wrong side. He's trying to get out of the way, but...
Wow. We have really seen everything, haven't we, Shanaka?
We really have. Kansan Ramanaik has struck a few beauties, but...
Unfortunately, Shanaka, in a way, that sums up the Sri Lankan rugby season and rugby culture, so to speak. There are flashes of brilliance and some very, very ordinary pizza play as well, isn't there?
Very ordinary, even just like that line out was. And it's areas of play that you would expect not to have to be worked on at this level. It's stuff that should be bread and butter for players of this caliber. In fact, sometimes the school players look a little bit better drilled than these club players.
Definitely, that's the ironic thing, and we are talking about it's more or less a professional sport, at least to some degree, where players are paid full time. You would expect that a second row forward, a jumper, would be able to secure his ball more often than not. You'd expect a fly half to fine touch more often than not. But unfortunately, it doesn't really happen. And as the game wears on, fitness comes to the fore as well, and both sides seem to have gone a bit pear-shaped. So, this is where we need to go. It doesn't really help, like we were discussing with the break, when players shift from one club to another, they get used to different styles of play, and that doesn't really help matters either. As the camera focuses on a good-looking commentary team.
Speak for yourselves, gents. Suryarachi to Sharif, scissoring on the inside with Musin Falil. Such a strong player. Lovely fend from Riza Mubarak. He's in a bit of space now, needs to look for the chip. Does well to keep the ball available. Suryarachi goes blindside, and there was a deliberate knock on there, I would think. Bilal Hassan pleading for it, but I think that's missed both the AR and the referee. Bilal Hassan is incredulous, but it looked like Kanchana Ramanaika tapped that ball out of Suryarachi's hand from the ground. It should be a penalty, if not a yellow card, if you can go back and have a look at that. That's what I saw from here, but I'm a good distance away. You can watch it here. Mubarak does well right there. He does very well to get the ball back. There's Ramanaik over the ball. Now he goes to ground. Suryarachi. And yeah, that's the... He should have got back on his feet before he made the tackle, or the attempted tackle. So you can see why Bilal was up in arms about that. This is a much better scrum from Police. Looks like this is the front row that they should start with. And going to his pocket again is referee Dinka Piris, and I think Mohammed Sharif is going to be at the receiving end of this one. He went in with what looked like a bit of an uppercut there, It looks much worse than it is sometimes. There he goes. Referee ThePapare is showing the uppercut.
Well, if that's the case, Shanak, it should be a straight red card. I'm sorry, but things like that have no place in this game. I mean, there are fine rules, and there has to be an element of respect that keeps this game safe. And you can't have players uppercutting players on a rugby pitch. I mean, that should be, then they should be probably playing UFC or boxing for that matter.
Jivan, I know you're a little bit more inclined towards keeping rugby a man's game. What is your take on it? Let's watch it here. We just missed it there. But yes, that right hand was nowhere on the ball. What do you think of that?
I think it's a 50-50 call, Shanaka. No, it was coming, Shanaka. Police have got frustrated. Players like Sharif have been frustrated over the last few phases of play. It's just a matter of time.
Referee Peary is calling a forward pass there, which was unfortunate from CR because they looked like they had.
There is a bonus try here in the offing, Shanaka, if CR wants it, because this police team the body language looks very, very poor. They look very negative. They seem to have resigned themselves to the fact that they're not going to pull this one either. It's another defeat for them, so they're in tatters at the moment. There's no one talking, no one leading this team. Even the opportunities that come their way, they can't seem to hang on to the ball. It's all doom and gloom, Shanaka, just like the weather over here.
Yes, indeed. Police feeling, as the color of their jersey would suggest. It's a penalty again, a deliberate knock-on. Bilal Hassan. He's been carrying the ball a little bit more in the last few minutes of the game, trying to spark something, ignite this police team a little bit. It's now CR's turn to be offside. Prince Chamara is on the park at fullback, with Kanchan Ramanayak arrested, and actually Amila Bandara has been taken off and Kanchan Ramanayak has moved to 12, Rojana Hettiarachchi to number 13. Gentlemen, we've been asked to pick a man of the match, and what are your thoughts on that? Some interesting performances from the CR team. Arun Kumar has scored a try and carried the ball well enough. Kokila Hiran has been good. Amila Bandara has created a lot without really being a shining star as such.
In a losing cause, the match is still on at the moment, and if police score, they're right back in it.
So
I think Bilal Hassan will make a serious case to be selected as well. I think he's had outstanding game.
Mubarak hoping to go on his own there. The penalty is coming for police, and again offside. Quickly taken by Sudham Suryarachchi. Can they hold him up over the line? They just managed to do that, and Terence Henry spills that one. But I suspect the referee would say that they were not back 5 meters. I'm surprised he hasn't gone for a card there actually. Police now, if they can get within 3 points, will fancy their chances towards the end of the game. It looks like it's over. Yes, it's a try.
No held up, Shanaka.
No, it's not. It's just held up. Oh, I thought for all money that he'd gotten himself over.
I thought referee Dinka got himself into a bit of an awkward position there. So you never know. Maybe the replay will show otherwise. But
yes,
that was mighty close, Shanaka. Mighty close.
Had to run around the padding. I think by that time Dylan Soiza had gotten in there and got his hands under the ball. So smart play from the little scrum half, but we didn't see police protest too much. So here we go, Rashid Silva that is. And just held up. Yeah, you can see Dylan Soiza not letting that ball come down. So good call from the referee in the end. And this is where Hassan can be so dangerous. He's already scored 2 tries. And if he gets a hat-trick in a losing cause, that'll tell you exactly why he is going to be the man of the match if that is the case. Here's the ball outside. Musin Falil. Oh, dear me. He nearly poleaxed himself there. Oh, I don't know whether there was any real intent in trying to spear there, but Dylan Soiza goes to the bin without too much protest. Musin Falil nearly came a cropper, gents.
Goodness.
Hassan fighting his way again. Oh, and it's a knock forward. That's a real shame. Police were almost within 3 points there, and it's been a good win for CR&FC. The gloss came off it a little bit with a lack of intensity, but I think we've all agreed that despite the 10-point loss for a 2-try effort, Bilal Hassan is our man of the match. No real outstanding performances despite having a good team performance from CR&FC. So Bilal Hassan, our man of the match here from the commentary box. But a good win for CR, 10 points, but they missed the bonus, and Police suffering 2 home defeats in consecutive weeks, which will be unfortunate for them, gentlemen. What is the advice to be given to them in the next week of match preparation?
Well, they just got to keep it together, Shanaka. You know, I think their first halves have been good, but second half, the discipline has been poor, and, you know, it's just the cohesiveness has just deserted them in the second half. So they just got to keep the faith. They'll get better as they get more familiar with each other. You know, come second round, they'll be a much better side. You know, a few teething problems when you get teams together, you know, from different clubs. But having said that, they'll still be disappointed. You know, these are games that they would have expected to have done a bit better. So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see how the future unfolds.
Well, it's a 10-point win, 22 points to 12 here at Police Park for the Longdon Place boys. 3 tries they scored with 2 conversions and 1 penalty from Kanchana Ramanayaka. And in turn, Police scored their 12 points through 2 tries from Bilal Hassan off the back of some good rolling mauls on the left and right flank, and 1 conversion from his brother-in-law and Sri Lanka fullback Riza Mubarak. So just not enough on the day to win against CR&FC. But don't forget to join us for the breakdown, which we will bring you over the course of the week, which will analyze all the action from this week's Dialog Rugby A Division League. But from Police Park, from Jeevan, Jayan and myself, it's goodbye for now.
Now, reserving your train tickets is as easy as reaching for your Dialog mobile. Just dial 444 and get instantly connected with the Dialog Expo Rail ticket reservation service. A new and hassle-free way to discover the breathtaking sights and sounds of Sri Lanka is now conveniently at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Dial 444 to reserve your Expo Rail train ticket today. Dialog, the future today.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow,
serving over 240 million customers across Asia. Axiata, advancing Asia.
Don't be constrained. Be versatile, be flexible. You have the power. Set talk time, SMS, and data quotas to match your style and enjoy the full potential of your mobile package. It's my plan from Dialog. Absolute power to you.
To create your own plan, visit www.dialog.lk/myplan or call 1777 for more information.